Hello there everyone, it's Carol from the Crafty Emporium. By heck, it's been a busy week this week. What with the country diary journal and packing up parcels from the pop-up shop last week. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that, isn't it? And I've also managed to finally finish the set of journals here, which are in a box. This was a commission, and the lady who this is for has kindly given her permission for me to share with you what I've made for her. So I used the Calico Collage Tea Soiree kit, digital kit, and I'll put the link in the description box down below. Now Betty saw the original one that I did of these and she liked it so much that she asked me to do it. So firstly, thank you very much, Betty, for letting me share this with everyone, and also thank you very much for your patience on this. It's taken me a little bit longer than I expected. So let's just get to it rather than waffling on, Carol. So I made the box from scratch and I covered it in the papers from the kit, and inside there are 2 journals. Now there's quite a bit of space still in here, which allows room for these journals to grow. So as she starts to add her own things to these journals, it will start to fill up this space. But of course, if she doesn't want to do anything to them, then she can add another journal in here if she so wishes, or any other books that she has. So let's just get down to it. So there's 2 in here, and I'll put that one to one side for a minute. And this is the first one. Now I'm just going to wobble the camera a bit because I'm going to move it so that it's further down, so it's a little bit nearer. Hang on, bear with me. A little bit nearer. There we go, so that you can see sort of what's what. So this is just a notebook, which I've decorated on the front and on the back. And this one is papers from the kit again. And then on the inside I've added a belly band, and I've just put some spare cards that I got left over in there so that she can utilise those either as they are and leave them there, or she can stick them into this journal herself and utilise them. And I've done the same on the back cover as well, got some leftover cards, and so I added those underneath the belly band with the really big paper clip here. And then I've left these pages blank, so I thought if she wanted to write her own recipes in here maybe, or just whatever she wants to use it for. So that one's sort of blank and left for her to use as she so wishes. Now this is the actual journal itself. Ooh, knocking the camera, sorry. So I've added a button, a spoon, a brass spoon on the edge here, and I've done some eyelet closures, done some seam binding closure, put some lace on the spine itself, and I've left the back plain, but as you can see it's got gold metallic on it. And then I've done these laces and ribbons as a bit of a tassel dangle on the side here, and they have been attached in such a way that she can take them off if she so wishes, but she'll be left with this on the spine. I've also done gold book corners as well on the journal. So let's just open it up, and I always get the wrong ones and I end up getting in a knot because I like to do a double ribbon. Okay, so there's 2 signatures in here, and as I say, I've used mainly the Calico Collage Tea Soiree kit, but I did find in the Sarah Midder book there's a couple of pages in there that related to ingredients that are used in tea. So there's a page here about chamomile, and then in here, and I'm not going to pull everything out because I want a few things to be a surprise. So there is a journaling card in there. I put lace on the edge of the page here, and here I put a doily and then inked over it with some distress inks to create a shadow underneath. Put some washi tape on the edge. Here there's some more journaling cards, and I made a pocket out of one of the pages, so I cut around the shape. I've also used avocado dyed papers, so they're a bit sort of got that pinky hue to them. This was a library card set that was from the kit, and I've left it open at the top so there's a space for a tag, and that's the library card, journaling card that's made for the pocket. Added some trim. Did a little cluster down at the bottom, so I want to show you close up because there's a little teapot and teacup charm on there, and I've added some of the Tim Holtz words on there too. Great things take time. Here I printed off a page from another kit of calico collages, and I printed it onto tracing paper, and then I attached it to a piece of greaseproof paper that I use in my oven when I'm dyeing my coffee dyed papers, and it stained it up a really nice colour, so I've used that as the backing, and you've now obviously got this nice bit of crinkling going on. And then in here there are some more pages that I will leave for Betty to find out about. Here I attached a paper clip, and then I attached a cupcake, oh sorry, knocking the camera again. I did a cupcake charm, so I covered the paper clip with the papers and a flower, and if I flip it over, that's the other side of it. And then underneath the paper clip I've added a journaling card there, and I've also added a large postcard there. This is a page that I've repeated that was the same in the previous journal, because I loved this page in the kit, and I printed it off twice, and I used the spoon to make a kind of belly band. In fact, I printed it off 3 times because I had the original page, then I cut out the spoon, and then on the third one I cut it out as a tag so that slots behind, so that it's sort of a bit of a hidden tag in a way, because it just merges into the background because of it all being the same image. Put some lace on the edge of that paper. Here, this was another page that I cut out, and I cut around the shape of the teapot, and there were some words in the kit as well, so I cut those out to use the answer to most problems. Well, as most of you will know if you've watched many of my videos, I do like a brew, so I can't deny that that's true. This is another image I cut out again from one of the pages and made it into a belly band, and then I attached some shopping list pages in there. What I thought with the shopping list pages is not actually to use them as a shopping list page, but you could write down products that we buy now and write down how much they are, and then on the second card in a few years time write the same items down and write down how much they are now then. But wouldn't it be interesting to do the comparison of how much things cost now and then? So this was the centre of the signature, and I just added some circles onto the end of the strings so that they've got some bits from the kit itself. Added some washi tape down here. Added this one as a pocket. This was a large journaling card within the kit, and again I put some papers within there. Now this one, again, I did something very similar in the previous journal. So what I did was I printed the page out, hang on, let me just count, 1, 2, 3, 3 times again, so that you've got the actual background page. Then I cut out this image of the teacup, and then I cut out a journaling card, but I also cut out the spoon again, so that you've got the spoon to stir your tea, so that comes out, so that slots in like that. And then the paper that was left, I cut out a journaling card so that it's the same image, you see, so that when you slot it in, it all blends in together again, and again is a little bit of a secret hidden spot. And as you can see as well, I've done some stitching around some of the cards as well, and done some faux stitching, which is where I've just drawn the stitching lines on. On this page here I did a double belly band, and I did it because I love that little journaling card, so I put that underneath the main belly band, but then I added the tickets on the top, and if you can see, so that makes like a double belly band. I printed one of the papers onto some vellum, and I folded it in such a way that it made a pocket on the front, a pocket on the back, and if I just remove this, there is also a pocket in the middle. So let me just pop one of these cards in the middle. So there's 3 separate pockets within that, and then I just used glossy accents. So I cut out the circle and put some glossy accents on there and some lace, and that just slips under there. So just to hold it in place, I put the paper clip on, because it has a little bit of a tendency to slop about a little bit. Just see if I can get that on. Come on, there we go. So that just holds that little pocket in place underneath that second part of the belly band. This is a flip out page. Let me move that box. So this flips out. So there's some writing paper here. These are washi tape stickers. And then I made a belly band here with some of the words, and added a little booklet in there. It's the other side of that paper, and there's a big teacup in there, and there's a little booklet in here. So there's all sorts of little different bits and pieces in this little booklet, and some pockets as well, so that's there too. Now, one of the other things that I liked from this kit was these little tea bag pockets, and so you open up the pocket, and inside I've put an actual tea bag in there so that you can make your own tea. And I left the strings, and then I made this paper clip so that that could just slot under there. Added some lace and a bit of a drawn line on there. This is the other side of the paper clip, and I went through I went and Google searched like all the big posh hotels in the UK, and there were a couple from Australia as well, where they printed off where there were menus of what they do for a high tea or an afternoon tea. So I thought that that was quite interesting to add some of those to see what was the selections from the for if you actually went for a cup of tea and a sarnie. This was a tag, so I part added this element here, and then the tag itself swings out because I attached it with a brad at the top. And if I show you the other side of the page, so when I swing it out, I've actually put a glassine bag on the back, and then that slots under there to hold that in place. I did the same with the doily again on this side, so I inked up the doily so that it gave the image on the paper itself, and then I added some washi tape top and bottom. And that's the last page of the first signature. Onto the second signature. I love this little element here. So I managed to find these little ceramic teacups, so I've added one onto the pocket there, and that flips up, and then this slips down so that there's writing space in there. And then in the pocket itself there's another high tea. I made an envelope, I'm not going to open it up, but I made an envelope out of a coffee filter. And then there was the little tag booklet here, and there's a couple of little pockets there. On this page I added a guest check, and what I did here was I decorated up the guest check. So I put some writing paper on. This is a paper napkin. These are some Tim Holtz little pre-cut die cuts, and then I cut out another tag shape and attached it on so that you can flip it up, because I like the fact that on the guest checks they've got the lines on the back so that you can write on the back of them. So I didn't actually want to stick that directly onto the cream coloured card, so I've left it so that that can be flipped up and written on the back. This was a ghost pocket. So that is what the actual page looked like. Printed it out twice, and I cut around this shape so those roses are repeated underneath, and I attach that in such a way that it becomes a bit of a tuck, and there's those images in there, some journaling cards and a little mini bookmark. Here I did a really big belly band because I thought this was a nice area to write on, and then added some journaling cards underneath there. On this page I printed out a sheet of paper from an Artie Maze kit, and I folded it in such a way that it made a pocket here with a journaling card in. Cut out these elements and stuck those on the front because I'd folded at the bottom so that you've got a double pocket there. Found these Yorkshire tea tins. That's where I live, Yorkshire. Harrogate, not too far from me. So I added those elements and then did a little tag with a little decorative piece. So they slot in there. I just think that this image is really pretty. Love her. And I've done this one as a flip out, and then I cut out this really big flower, added it so that it becomes a tuck spot, and then put that in there. And I thought, well, we've had something from Yorkshire where I live, and I know this isn't where Betty lives, but it's American. But the Boston Tea Party. Then I added this pocket here with a journaling card in. And then I added this little tiny tea packet pocket at the bottom corner, and then added some cards in there. Here I did some fussy cutting. So I cut out these images and I cut two out, so I've got one at the top and one at the bottom. But I thought, doesn't that look quite pretty just on its own? And then I found this card that I just thought went really well. Let's see if I can get it under with a paper clip in place. But I thought it went really well colour wise with those flowers, so I thought that gave an overall pretty image. Fussy cut around these big flowers and added a journaling card and a tag in there, and I've just held them in place with the big paper clip to just stop them falling out, because you do tend to find, because these pages are now angled, is that things will start to fall out, so the paper clips to just hold them in place. Here's a doily again. Here I printed the same paper as I used on the box, so that one, look, and I just printed it onto some vellum and attached it to the centre page, but added it in such a way that it makes pockets. So there's a pocket at the top with something in. So I used this one as the centre page for the second signature, and the image is this on this part of the page. So I printed it out twice again and cut around it and added it to the page, so this now becomes a tuck spot. So that's what the page looks like, and as I say, I cut this out again and attached it so that little things can be tucked behind there. I added the words here as a bit of a belly band, so I added that at the top up there. Here I made a double set of pockets, added some lace, so there's a set of pocket, there's a pocket there and there's another pocket here. This was another tea caddy tin, and what I did here was I cut off the top of the lid and added a piece of card to it, so you can take the lid off and you've got a journaling card that sits inside the tin. These were also parts of the digital kit, and I attached the teapot at the top with a brad so that that swings round, so it now looks as though it's pouring tea into the teacup. But it also means that if that swung right the way round, you can write on the back of the teapot. And then in the teacup itself, I cut out the spoon, so again you've got another stirring spoon for in the teacup. This was another image from the kit, and I just cut around it and attached it so it now becomes a tuck spot. This is another flip out page, and it's got some explanations of herbal tea in there. This was just a doily that I wrapped around the top of the page, and I put some washi tape along the bottom. There's another, let me just get that teaspoon, I could show you. So I've added this band down at the bottom. I did do it as a bit of a tuck spot in there. So you can tuck something behind there, but you can also add a little something in there if you want. This is another tea caddy, and this is from Betty's, which is a very famous Yorkshire set of tea rooms. And again, added that tea makes everything better, added a couple of brads, and this one I did this as a flip top lid, and then behind there I've added some of the tea packets from the kit. And on the very last page, so I did a belly band here of vellum that I'd printed on, and then added the roses on, because these were quite flat, these roses, and then I added a journaling card underneath. And then this was the second page from the Sarah Midder book about having tea in the garden, and there's a load of tea cakes in there, desserts and your teapot. And then I made a really large journaling card which sits in the top of the pocket there. And then that's the back of the journal. So this is Betty's, very aptly named, seeing as we have Betty's in York and Harrogate's, well, in Yorkshire, doing their afternoon teas. So this is Betty's journal, or journals I should say, together with the box. And thank you very much, Betty, for allowing me to show the journal, and I hope that you will get a lot of pleasure out of looking through the journal, using it, doing what you wish with it, and it's on its merry way to you very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you again soon. Bye.